Oh, we are live, dude. That's why I just
GM,
shut up
GM,
before we go live.
or good afternoon, I should say. Good evening, depending on where you are in the world. It is Wednesday, May 21st. Damn, dude, time's flying by. And we have with us today our returning guest, Professor Satoshi and Hackerman Ace. What's up, boys?
Yo, yo, GM.
Welcome back. Always a pleasure to have you
GM.
both.
Thank you for having me.
It's a beautiful day. Beautiful day. All-time high for BTC. As me and Marty always say, it's a bull market for Bitcoin. Fortunately, we can't say the same for everything else.
Yeah.
Never
Sad, but
ended.
true.
What's been up? What have you guys been up to? It's been a little while since we had you on stream. Ace, I haven't heard from you in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, other than the nonsense I had going on the last couple weeks for why I've been MIA, I mean, market's been good. Luckily, before everything happened, I was already long, so me not being at the screens kind of helped. So it's been working out. I mean, looking at everything today and seeing all-time highs, I'm a little surprised that the other majors aren't up. So I'm actually coming on stream so we can see what you guys think about buying some puts up here. I think we're pretty up there considering everything else is lagging when just a couple days ago everything was going up in tandem.
Marty will sell them to you.
Anything you want to buy.
Yeah, Marty will quote you.
No, I mean when you have this guy who's long like a yard of capital, he's long like $1 billion, and at the fucking top, I think it's like 108 or something. His entry, like that's getting a little toppy. And you also don't know if he's just short on another exchange and he's collecting funding. I think funding's been like 1.5 million so far. So whatever the difference is of the two.
I
Um,
would say he's not short because like I didn't see any like corresponding open interest on like monitoring those data websites that have like specific OKX,
yeah.
Binance, Bybit breakout. So there wasn't like a corresponding like rise. So I feel like it is purely breakout trader type of trade, which I think sort of makes sense. Um, but I'm a hater. Everyone's bullish now, and I want things to nuke. Like I'm petty like that. Especially because like the people coming back on the timeline when everything's at all-time high.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of thinking like the put idea. Everybody just got bullish all of a sudden the minute we break into all-time highs, and I'm like, oh well, maybe it's a good time for me to close out or at least get some protection on the books because I'm just pure out long at this point.
I've been praying.
Did you just go
as
fucking
a,
long, leave us for 2 weeks, and come back and not miss and skip all of the bullshit, and you came back like P&L a couple houses? I'm
Yeah,
honestly like,
if I would have came back, or if I would have been back like the week after that chop sideways, I probably would have been doing stuff. But since I didn't have any computer or phone by me, I mean, this was like that was the only good thing about the past couple weeks. I came back to good P&L, so I'm not like worried about anything.
yeah. There was some guy who bought some downside protection. It was a bunch of various put spreads, and at the end of it, he put it on for a credit. So he got, it's not free downside, but if it goes past, I think it's like past 40K or something, then he has like unlimited loss all the way to zero. But he had free downside. He got paid to put it on until like 40K. So what are the odds that it drops, 60, 70% by December? Pretty low. But what are the odds that it lands in that, 50, 60, 70, 80 spot? So there was some smart plays over the past couple of weeks of people buying downside protection, but not just outright puts, right? They're doing various kinds of spreads and various payoffs, and the guy ended up putting it on for a credit at the end of the day. So props to him.
I've been looking at it for the last like week. I've been telling Marty, but it's more been cope as someone who's normally like 100% allocated into risk assets. A few months ago when a couple months ago, I moved in like two. When I was moving into my house and stuff, I just sold the majority of my stuff to stables and just stuck them in stable farms. And then I bought some BTC on near the lows in the 80s, and then still had like a good chunk in USDC because I was like, okay, like we'll probably have another like month or so of sideways action. The summer is usually pretty mute. And then at the end of the summer, we usually pick up, run up through the fall and fucking, or you could say run up in the fall and they, you know, we call a classic top in end of the year, November, December. And this
I
year,
like
the
that.
summer has just been fucking on fire, you know? So I've been the last week, I'm like, all right, we've been up only for like a month, like literally what,
8
30
weeks. It's like 8 weeks of green, 8 green weeklies.
insane. And just aggressive up the last couple weeks. So yeah, I've been looking for it and been telling Marty I've been a little surprised that we extended this far. I thought 105 we were gonna cap out, and then we pushed up to 110. So here we are. Maybe I get
That
my
was just the last catch to catch all the retards, you know, buying all-time high breakout traders got absolutely fucked, and we're here to see another day.
Hey, Professor, I'm curious. At the beginning of the month, did you see any kind of order flow? Because that's like the one thing I've been noticing at a little bit more when we are down at where premiums are just stupidly cheap or at least significantly cheap. I've been seeing people grab these crazy calls. Like I know a couple weeks ago, I saw people grabbing those 110s and things that were well over 100K. And I mean, I knew it was gonna go. I just wasn't. I would assume that they would probably grab something dated, but they grabbed for May, and here we are now at 110, which they're probably paid out if they haven't already closed out. So I'm curious if you saw anything.
There was, but like there are definitely people playing for upside with options, but I would say like it's not the market is not like full boat loaded to upside via calls or call
Yeah.
spreads. But yeah, like the 110s, 120, 130s, like those came in like last week or the week before. But if you just look at like options positioning right now, I would say that it's kind of like pretty muted. Maybe muted is a little bit too strong. Because there's definitely, you know, people positioned for upside and then you got people hedging for downside. Like it's just not like full boat load, like everyone's on board. Like I would say this rally is, you know, it's been shorted into at multiple levels. I think 97 was like probably the last area that it made sense to really size into like a short maybe for like some backing and filling. But you look at this chart and there even like the perps people, they only just came like, you know, a few. Yeah, I mean OI is elevated, but it's not like this whole thing is built on like pure perp longs, you know, there's spot buying um at each level. And also if you like it's been low time frame chop and then extension, low time frame chop, extension. There's no actual like cleansing of any sorts. It's been a
Yeah, there's
largely
no width.
untested.
Yeah, I mean, we did get absolutely gigafucked in the beginning of the year. You know, the world was over. Tariffs were, I don't know, 200% on the whole world or whatever the US was saying. And then, oh, just over a weekend in Switzerland with the Chinese fellas, they came to push 90 days, and you know that just extended the market. Like, okay, they were full of shit, or you know, they were lying. Um,
Trump
and we
literally
had a
told you to buy.
Trump,
did tell you to
yeah,
buy.
He
But the
literally
United
told
States
you to
doesn't
buy the
have
bottom, like
to buy
dead
it.
bottom. He said, I would buy.
Right.
I know. And people like try to like double think it. Like, cause he
Just
said the
buy it.
same thing in 2018, and I like reposted the 2018
Maybe
tweets.
you were the one. I think I brought it up to someone. I was like, dude, this would be so. I saw your post. I was like, this would be so fucking funny. Like, and it probably will happen because, you know, always the most like unlikely or most comical scenario is like something to happen in a situation like that. And fucking there you go. Like, he fucking literally tells you, like, yep, we're going to pump the markets. So,
Yeah,
No
yeah.
one
Well,
talks
and they were
about
doing
Dixie dumping. Dixie hit below 100. I think that assisted a
really,
lot.
really
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Well, you had
there's
that.
no
You
Trump will be a
also have
menace.
all these behind. behind closed doors with huge financial institutions in the White House, which I thought was more interesting. And then he on live television, he's like, "Oh well, you made a few billion today. You made a couple hundred million today." Like
Yeah, he said
they
that.
were all fucking in on it, dude. It was so good.
They were all in on it. Trump
They
was
all knew.
just trying to get us lower entries. That's all. I mean,
He
That's
was
what I
trying to
was saying
help.
to everybody. I'm like, the prices are cheap. Why wouldn't you want to buy? And they
Yeah,
kept
that's the
using
thing.
the
Like,
argument about mom and pop shops aren't able to afford it. I'm like, this is the best time for them to afford it.
that is the crazy thing, right? Like people make that argument, like, oh, well, mom and pop shops couldn't. He literally just told you, like, I'm about to give you a free stimmy. You have
no,
a
but
day. You have 24 hours. I'm going to give you a free stimmy. All right, bye now. Before tomorrow.
Yeah,
it
yeah. But
wasn't the
now
easiest though.
actual macro headwinds. I don't want to be that fucking guy, okay? But we are rolling over slightly, not just on crypto, but in TradFi too.
We should talk
Yeah.
about that a bit because I brought it up to you the other day. How one of my buddies was like, he was saying he wasn't buying any of this. He's like, yeah. I'm like, are you getting back in? He's an old school Bitcoiner. He got out in like low 90s. The last little run up we had right before we had all this downward volatility and price action. And he was like, yeah, I haven't gotten back in yet. Now that we're above 100, I'm kind of thinking about it, but I'm pretty weary because of everything going on in like the macro environment that no one's really talking about. Like, US credit just got re-rated. We're seeing higher rates across the board. And, like we've seen no impact on the market yet. So maybe it does nothing. Maybe it does. I'm going to wait a month or two.
I think it'll be a delayed reaction. I mean, I think they're just going to drag this on until the end of the year, and then there's their excuse to run it up and blame it half on whatever the macro events are and half on the fact that the year's ending.
Well, it's the Biden overhang.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
Biden's
Of
market.
course, of
It's
course.
Biden's market.
Biden.
If the market's
So
not
there is
up,
one
it's
thing.
just the Biden overhang.
Of course. There's one thing that you have to think about though is going into midterms next year, I guess. Um, like the markets can't be absolutely dead. So it has to be up year over year or since inauguration, since he took office to make him look good going into midterms.
Yeah.
So the
It's got
thing
to
with
be a
the
Trump
US is that
market.
they have to. Yeah, now the Biden overhang gets swept under the rug, gets pushed. He has cancer now. He probably had cancer the whole fucking time, by the way. And then
Fuck.
Trump Trump
I'm
saves
not
the
laughing at
market.
that, by the way. I'm laughing at the market part of it.
I'm laughing at the fact that they probably hid it from the U.S. public while he was running and all of the shit. Yeah, that's what's fucked up. And then U.S. has to play this 2 and 4 year game. You need to be reelected. He can't be reelected after this second term, but the party can still be reelected, and so he has to look good. So I mean, all the tariffs are bad for the end consumer, but if it does bring money into the country, then sure, no problem. That's great. And I think currently is like what 30-year bounce, 20-year bounce to all the fucking things bounced today and got regular markets absolutely shreked. The mortgage rates are like over 6% again. So I mean, not looking good for the low to low middle income families
People
and
aren't
shit like
paying back their
their
people that
Klarnas.
aren't. Yeah, they aren't paying their Klarnas anymore. We're like 1 mil in food debt, I think, in Klarnas.
Yeah, well, there's that too. But America's built on credit, and they always will extend more and more credit to low income people. They'll always give them, fucking $500 credit cards. I mean, even when I was 18, it was like, oh, here's your credit card with $10,000. You're like, dude, I'm 18 years old. Like, $10,000? Like, they don't do that anymore, I don't think. Um, but I mean, that's what they used to do. Now they're giving Klarnas for fucking Subway sandwiches.
Yeah, I know. It's actually a risk, like almost like a hidden credit risk, I guess, that
Klarna
can build
defaults.
up. I mean, yeah, I mean like you default on like I don't know, like $1,000 iPhone, but then you have like what's the implications if there's like, like a lot of these, right? But I would say like the biggest thing is the biggest thing to focus on right now for the next quarter is sadly the macro data. Q3, like we're what it's in May, it's almost June, so I I actually am on team like BTC 120K, 130K. I am on that team. Um, and I haven't seen anything that kind of like changes my view of that yet. And even we had like the China headlines on Monday this week where because that deal in Switzerland is not a deal, guys.
Yeah, it's a
It's like a
90-day push.
yeah, it's like a temporary, let's call it like a temporary deal. And like she is like saving, I think he's playing it well. Like she is playing a good poker game, I would say. But once this like I think the market has nothing to look at except for economic data in Q3, which is why the risk is actually more to the downside instead of like the upside. Like in Q2, this rally, I felt like the risk is to the upside because like once you got to 145% tariffs, it's basically like you're stopping trade between the two biggest countries. And even in like you heard stories in China, they were shutting down factories and like not hiring people. And in the US, we had like empty ports for certain items. So like you can't have that happening, obviously, at least not for a very long time where things just stop working. I was talking to an exporter. I'll take a brief tangent. I was talking to an exporter
Love it.
who exports like Argentine beef to the US and to Hong Kong. And he was saying like there was like a brief period of time, like 1 month, where he had no idea like how to forecast his pricing and like the buyer was like, "Yo, this is the tariff," and then the seller on the other end was like, "Well, this is the tariffs," and everything was just almost like frozen. And he was like, "You can't be having that. It's like too, you're
Yeah, too
it's
much
too,
friction, right? Yeah.
We
yeah,
were
it's too
we were
disruptive."
talking about it on stream one day because one of our occasional co-hosts is from a European country, and he was saying that they couldn't get their cards PSA graded. So like
Oh
any
yeah.
type of like trading card, whether it be sports card, Pokemon card, like you name it, they couldn't get graded because the places that it was too expensive to ship them to, like there's only a couple continents in the world that do it, and where they ship them is to the US. And it was so expensive that they just stopped doing it. So it was like all grading of cards was pretty much out the door for Europors.
Well, and DHL stopped shipments over $800 for retail. That's a huge fucking red flag.
Yeah, it's insane.
My cashmere supplier that I buy clothes from doesn't ship to the U.S. anymore. Like it will affect them, but them being the burgers, but they do make a lot of stuff in America. It's just that it's mostly assembled in America. So it's like all of the tech, they make it outside of America and import it in. It will be actually interesting to see if anybody brings a factory or an factory and assembly plant into America. I mean, you have
They're gonna put them in.
Honda.
They're gonna put them on fucking U.S. like territories and places like Samoa. Like little
Guam,
islands on the other part of
Puerto
the
Rico.
the other part of the
Yeah.
world, where they can still source cheap labor and fucking get away
I
with
didn't
it.
think about that. Put it in fucking Guam.
I
And
didn't think about it either till we went to
I didn't think
order,
about that.
back on our furniture kick, Marty. I went to order something, and they were like, "Yeah, it's all." They said it was all made in the U.S., and then they're like, It takes like 12 to 16 weeks." I'm like, "Where the fuck is it coming from?" Like, "Oh, it's coming from Samoa." I'm like, "Where the fuck is
Um,
Samoa?" And I looked it up,
yeah.
and it's some fucking island, over on the other side of the world by like New
Yeah.
Zealand and Australia. I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
They're like, you're good.
Well, yeah, I'm
Terror free,
cool,
bro.
cool. But yeah, it just made me think like we probably have, there are territories that none of us think about or realize that they're all over the place, and we probably have, different textile factories and niche.
People don't.
distribution centers set up over there where they can handle this kind of stuff, and we can get away with, sourcing those cheap materials or cheap labor.
Yeah, but like, what if they just like Apple? There was some talk that they would just open up the Brazilian Foxconn plant again and make it in Brazil and then export it to America. It would still be cheaper than to fucking build a whole new plant in America. So I'm actually curious to see, like, after the 90-day push, do they keep just pushing it along? Because even the Trump's cabinet was saying, oh, it could take like 2 years to make a final deal. So what if they're like, oh, like just kind of like this recession talk, right? Like they just keep pushing it. They just keep pushing it. Like, oh, there's not a recession. We just changed the definition. So I wonder if they just keep moving the carrot down the fucking road, and we just keep chasing it. And
I would probably
the
lean
deal
towards
never.
that, changing the narrative of things just to keep the funneling of money and things going. That makes sense.
And then
It
you have
sounds
these
like
weird
a
whipsaw crashes, like, oh, just kidding, ha ha ha, tariffs are back 200%. And then next week, like, oh, we met in Switzerland again, it's all back. Like that was so telegraphed, I guess, if you look back at it. But when you're in the moment with money on the line, you're like, oh, this thing is just in fucking free fall. I mean, ETH hit like 1,400 or something. ETH is still down on the year 20%.
yeah. That's how you know that not everyone wants to go full risk on. Like alts are lagging behind BTC still. But I would also say like what you mentioned, Marty, is almost like a constant wall of worry on the markets. And obviously we just took all of May and like all of April to climb this wall of worry because now we have these pauses and then like what happens on the other side of the pause is it's this guy can tweet anything. I mean, the last thing, so I didn't expect the Switzerland news to hit the tape. Like even my most bullish friends, they, were saying that okay, this might be where we get a little bit of backing and filling on Bitcoin and even equities, but then you just got this. Besson was saying he was the one saying that this is going to take 2 years, and then he comes back from Switzerland and he's like, "Look,
We
guys, look
got
what
it,
I did." Yeah, look what I did, guys.
fuckers.
So that's why this really accelerated the this upwards price action on Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, what do we hit? All-time high 110. I don't know what perps is depending on where you're looking, but basically just shy of 110. Maybe some places hit 110, and then we got a 3K candle just fucking straight down right after the bond auction. And then where does that leave us? I mean, it's usually sell in May and go away. It would be fucking hilarious if this was the top end of May, and then you rode out summer getting absolutely fucked with 10K moves up and down, and then you ride off into the sunset, or even 20K swings, dude. Right? Like
I
I
mean,
have
for
good
the
move.
last
I'm here
for
for
the
that.
last for the last couple months, I mean, every monthly close, we get some kind of crazy volatility. And the fact that this happened in the middle of the month, I mean, for me, that's just sketchy, especially since we're seeing weakness on other majors. So for me, I feel like whatever happens on the close is kind of more important than whatever happens now, because if we can't set up nicely for the summer, it's just going to be a shitty summer. So
All right.
I'm really hopeful we close nicely.
Well, thank you. Now you're making me feel like it's not just cope. It's actual.
Hopium.
Yeah, no, it's legit. It's good
guys,
worries.
it's gonna hit all-time high in June. Like this is like this is almost looking like a double top almost. Like yeah, we printed on Coinbase 110 and it's like a giant ass wick like Marty mentioned. But I sort of want that. Like I want people to get like knocked off before like the move to like 120, 130
Mm-hmm.
in June. And I think I would pretty much de-risk around those levels. And then Q3, I think there's going to be some chop and down. That's my view right now. I'm still formulating this view for next 3 months, but it's almost time to finalize that because it's almost time to close out the quarter. Can't believe I'm saying that. It's been so fast.
fall down.
I mean, I think tech's about to hit some new highs, and I think tech's about to pump. So I think Bitcoin will most likely follow through. I mean, I don't want to get so bearish to where I think it's going to be bad. I mean, there's obviously going to be up and downs, but
106K. How can we be bearish?
yeah, exactly. Or I mean, even over 100K, I'm happy with it. I'm like, this is great. Volatility is good on for trading. I mean, everything's working out. I mean, if I'm focusing on like stocks and crypto together, Bitcoin miners haven't even taken off yet. They're just getting set up now to take off, and Coin just had a gigantic candle and hasn't broken out yet either. So I think we're in for a pretty nice, decent ride if I'm being hopeful. But definitely some pullbacks because everybody's bullish now.
Do you actually like the Bitcoin miners still as like a beta to BTC? Because like they haven't really performed, and they even try to do like the AI pivot. I'm
Yeah, I
almost
would
like,
treat them as like a third tier type of thing, kind of like altcoins. So if I was assuming that Bitcoin's going to run first and then coin's going to run, and then I would think then I'm going to assume that miners run. But yeah, they've been underperforming this entire run, but I'm assuming they're more like volatility products. So once we actually get some decent pushes and all-time highs, then those things will start taking off. But until then, they lag a lot. So I'm not the biggest fan of playing them. It's you got to really time them out.
You know what's
yeah.
interesting is like Bitcoin Vol is still like fucking 40 or 50. ETH is
What a
front end.
scam.
Yeah, front end on ETH is like 80 something right now. I just glanced at it, but I mean, you would expect that we would be, 50, 60 vol product, and we're over here sitting like 40. And I'm not sure if people are pricing in like Bitcoin moves 20K in a week up and down. Maybe Bitcoin is being a little too institutionalized, but maybe there's some good vol plays to pick up with it being so low. Not directional plays, right? But just picking up some volatility plays, maybe I don't know, a month or two out. I wouldn't look towards the end of the year. I mean, at this rate, we're not sure what fucking happens next week, right? So, I guess another thing that I would say for anybody that's listening is, the good old Jim the cat is like always fucking take profit. I know a bunch of people that round trip their fucking trade like 9 times, and it's like, dude, you could have made 10 grand each or 100 grand each time, like in like you round tripped it, and now they're at a loss, right? So taking profit and not listening to everybody on crypto Twitter. I mean, if you're trying to buy that guy's long 108K, if you tried to long 108K and didn't take, I think he's on like 40x leverage or something retarded. Like, if he had $1,000 or $2,000 move and he didn't start taking profit, like I think maybe Twitter got to the guy's head. If you go look at his entries and exits, he usually just scalps like $1,000 moves. And now it's so big on Twitter. We don't know the full story, right? Maybe he's short on another exchange. Professor says probably not, but we don't know if he's scattered it around or he has options. We have no fucking idea, right? But it seems a little dumb not to take profit when you're long $1 billion and you're up. I don't know. I think he was up like 15 million bucks or something, 10 million bucks.
I was just thinking like if you're gonna do that size, yeah, I also thought it was like a farming strategy or whatever, because like Lighter is doing that like farming. There's so many perp
Yeah,
dexes coming
everybody
on. Like it's like
everybody.
perp dex derby right now. But
Mhm.
yeah, like there's no OI, and yeah, he could be like doing some options thing too. But at
Oh
the end of the
well, as
day,
I say that, he bought more. As we were on
he
the
did.
call, he bought more 25 minutes ago or something. He's down 9 million on Bitcoin and long and up almost 6 million on Pepe with an entry at
See,
108.
see, that's the thing. Like if you're doing this on chain, you are opening it like you're susceptible to being you have a target on your back almost for anyone who wants to kind of like mess around at these levels. It's always at the all-time high breakout. So
Guess
yeah,
what
I'm
his
like I'm
liquidation is?
almost
Did you know what his liquidation is?
99.
103, no, 103.8.
Oh, dude, that's where we're going.
But
Dude,
that's still
take
good though.
Yeah, that's we could still go there and then still be bullish and hit
yeah,
higher
for
point.
sure. I mean, we can go to fucking 90 again and still be bullish, right? It would just suck if this was the top at the end of May versus the beginning of May, like we usually get with seasonality type of stuff.
Yeah, when you have a position like that size, and it's on chain, and everyone can see it, you got the liquidation level like calculated and whatnot. It's so like, what's stopping someone from that has like a huge stack? I mean, I get it. BTC is not that PvP anymore, because back then, like when we were trading, you know, 5K BTC or like 9K BTC, you would have like just like whale games, market order, sell like hundreds of BTC into like obviously a very thin tape, and then
Yeah,
nuke people
run
out.
their fucking stops. I need a new
Yeah,
Ferrari, Arthur Hayes. Yeah.
run their stops, and then like max ape on perp, rebuy spot, and then run it all back. I don't know, like I feel like we're at the end of that. We're at that window of time to do that type of stuff is closing, because it is becoming a very large asset. Like, what are we, like, right behind Apple in terms of
Yeah.
market cap now, I think.
Yeah, we passed somebody today. We passed Google today, or we passed somebody fucking big today.
Yeah.
So where do you guys see the attractiveness for institutions then? Just strictly on buying spot or buying some of these other products or getting a little bit more deeper into crypto?
I can speak to this now because like I've been catching up with a bunch of old TradFi buddies, and the ETF space is going to explode. Like, not in the stuff that I would personally be buying myself, but just getting more access and doors open to Bitcoin. Like, they're still figuring out the custody part of it, the prime brokerage part of it, um, and all that. Like, things are just getting activated on Wall Street, like the Wall Street types and all the banks. Like, only recently you saw JP Morgan. Um, Jamie really doesn't like Bitcoin, it sounds like, it seems, but everyone's getting their ducks in a row on Wall Street to get this thing to clients.
I mean, if people want to trade a product and if there's money to be made, they're gonna come. That's like as simple as it's going to be, right? So you're going to see an influx of different ETFs of random shit that you're like, what does this even like? It's not even a top 100 coin, let's say. And then you also have to think that not just because it's a product that's tradable or a tradable product doesn't mean that it goes up forever. People long, people short, there's options, there's futures. Like we just got the Solana futures on CME a couple weeks ago. So they're trying to bring more products to the US. Even Coinbase launched 24-hour futures, dated futures, though. And I'm like, this is just like BitMEX. This is like nothing new. Like, it's not even a perp. They're trying to bring perps, but it's just, the regulatory space in the US really hasn't shifted as much as I thought that it would have in this amount of time.
Yeah.
It seems like Bitcoin was the new hot shit. Trump did the conference. There was all this working group and fucking study library group, whatever the fuck they were doing. And then we haven't heard from any of those guys in a few months. And of course they're working and things take time, but there was nothing new for the tax law this season. There was nothing new. Um, I guess the stablecoin bill passed yesterday or 2 days ago. Yesterday, I guess. So
Mhm.
they're trying, but it's not as quick as I thought that it would have been.
I mean, that's good to
No.
hear from Professor. That's good to hear that they're like focused on ETFs, and that's kind of where they're heading at. Because for me, I mean, to hear that is good because I still feel like there's a lot of crypto now starting to focus on TradFi on chain and more TradFi options available to people, whether they're on CEXs. So for me, it's just a matter of time before we start seeing ETF trading available on chain for people, and that's kind of like where my head's at. I'm excited to see more options available from the TradFi people that are wanting to take that extra risk, or even retail that wants to take that risk for rather on chain.
Yep. Do you guys remember Mirror Protocol from Do?
Yeah.
It was part of the Luna
Yep.
ecosystem thing. Like, I think that is where the industry is going to gravitate towards, and that really makes you think like the Coinbase model versus like the Robinhood. Like lately, I've been more bullish on Robinhood than I am on Coinbase. I'm actually like not
Good
that
man.
bullish on Coinbase. I really don't like Coinbase. Um, the operational, like it's just so bad. Like everything is so bad with Coinbase. The tech stack, exchange, like
What do you mean? They
technology.
just launched 4-hour candles for
Dude,
their
I
users
saw that and that was
from a
just so
trading view
embarrassing. Like,
API.
how is that an accomplishment? Like,
Great.
You mean that isn't what you've been asking for? They're giving the
You
customers
asked,
exactly what
we
they
ship.
need.
yeah. So what I'm trying to say is there's opportunity here. Premia obviously being in the mix, like the on-chain stuff, like I think that that's like we're in the right spot, guys. Um, that's where the puck is going. Now, obviously, I'm not saying like Goldman is just gonna start doing trading activity and Millennium and Citadels are all gonna move on chain and stuff. But it might come in the form of like, oh, we don't really see it on the front end, but it's on the back end, and that's kind of like how we get this like recognition. Now, is that gonna make the Bitcoin price go up? Um, Maybe not directly, could be somewhat indirectly, but more eyes on the industry for sure.
I mean, for me, it's finding more of an edge every single time. Like whenever these things get on chain or whatever ends up happening, I feel like there's an easier way to analyze it. And for people that are able to understand like how to read certain things, it's easier for you to either follow along or make a clear analysis to make some gains. So that's probably my more angle is I'd love to see more of this stuff come up because I'm good at reading order flow and I know I can make money off that.
I know, Ace. That's why I don't like going on chain because I know you're there.
We're fighting you. No, the one thing that I do have to bring up is all of these on-chain
Funds.
places, all of these on-chain places. Let me try to think how I want to say this. All of these on-chain venues that are offering US equities and indices as a broker dealer, maybe or probably with no license, is not a good fucking start. Okay,
Yeah, that's bad.
I don't. Yeah, that's bad. I don't think that that's
Wait,
the right
who's
way.
doing that? We have that already?
Yeah, yeah, it starts with an O, I think. It starts with an O. I
Is
forget
it
the
big
fucking
enough
name.
for like is it big enough for like the SEC to like notice, or is it like a few million?
Uh, I haven't even looked. They tried to DM me to show some shit, and I don't know. But I guess for the people that are listening that don't know, it's a great idea that it's instant settlement. It's a great idea that it's out of your wallet. It's a great idea that it's on chain. All of this shit is a great idea. The only concern that I have is who at the end of the day controls and owns the securities, who actually owns the shares. Because if it's in your US brokerage account and if the broker goes down, then it's covered by SIPC insurance, not FDIC, SIPC insurance. So if the brokerage goes down, all you do is move your shares to another brokerage and you control it. You're the beneficiary at the end of the day, not not some on-chain sleazeball fucking Cayman Islands company where the people live in Dubai, like right? Like, and if they go down, then you have no recourse of pulling your
Yeah.
your shares. That's like my only concern. Like, it's a great idea that it's instant settlement and all that, but like, really be careful if you're putting money to work there.
No, that's exactly like the stuff that they're figuring out on in like the big banks and whatnot, like custody solutions and vendors, audits, wallet like management. Is there insurance? Like what's the like disaster protocols, like if something like a Bybit happens, obviously we don't want that to happen, but that was the biggest hack. No one ever like says this, but it was the biggest like hack in the history of like the entire world.
That was the
Uh,
worst hack for me. That's the only time I got burned badly.
Which one? Sorry, which hack?
Bybit.
the Bybet one from like forever ago. Their initial one.
Yeah.
Oh, the initial one. I thought you were talking about the recent one.
No, the initial one was horrible for me. That's when platforms weren't even working. I couldn't even log in. I lost so much money.
Yeah, see, that's
1.5 billion.
that can't happen. Like that shit can't happen if we want to grow up, right?
Yeah,
saw
yeah. I
one
mean,
of
the
like
hacks always happen though, but when it's on chain and shit like that, it's irreversible. So that's the issue.
What do you
So
guys think
that's
of
what I was
on-chain
thinking.
KYC?
It's a
That's where
horrible
it's
idea.
headed, dude. But that's where it's headed. Coinbase has already
in
proven
what
this
way?
by partnering with Morpho. So there's KYC approved pools. It's the only way you're going to get institutions to come on, quote, on chain, even though they're using a custodial provider like Fidelity or Coinbase or Hidden Road or whatever. And
I don't believe in on-chain KYC as in like me put my personal identifying information on chain for then people to like decrypt and use in whatever way they want. I do think that we could have our own version that's like a credit system or a credit reputation system in which allows you certain limits based on your risk score of under collateralized loans and things like that.
I actually think that's a good business idea because I think on-chain I don't I know it goes against the entire crypto ethos and like the Bitcoiner kind of like cypherpunk era, but when it comes to trading activity or any financial activity, especially like we're talking like dealing with huge size, I think there will be KYC needed because you just can't have like random unidentified actors because you're gonna get money laundering, right? And that's why there's AML KYC.
I don't believe in money. I think money laundering is like totally a made up thing. It's just it's money laundering is a difference of context.
they're just moving money around.
Yeah, like the only difference between like money laundering and sending money, like paying someone for something, is context or intention. Like it's money laundering is a made up thing to fucking jail people and take money that they feel like
Right,
they're
that's interesting. That's interesting. The like I would have to just add that there's just so many laws that were created around this that I'm
exactly.
not sure how. Yeah, like I don't know how it's gonna mix and blend together. And
They
I'm not
don't. They
saying I
do
have the
separate
answer.
pools. They do separate pools for KYC'd individuals and entities. That's how it's
Yeah. Like right
segregated.
now, Aave has like their institutional, product, and I think Maker does too. And they do, they have their own KYC that they do for that. And what I'm saying is like, it kind of goes along with what you were going at. Like, Bitcoiners don't like this because, you should be sovereign and you don't need to trust anyone and blah, 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 blah. But the fact remains that yes, when you're doing business deals or business transactions or transacting in size, there is a level of trust that is needed and security for the transaction. And that's why I think that, like, to kind of satisfy their need for protection of their personal identity, a reputation or credit score system is a better implementation of that. Because then you can say, okay, this guy with $1.5 billion on chain, it's not a new address that just got funded with $1.5 billion from North Korea. We don't know who, some unknown actor. This is an address that has a history of doing things on X, Y, and Z exchanges or venues. Their money came, initially from this exchange. And there's a way to create, a profile of trustworthiness, or profiling of trustworthiness for an address or an account, in which then you can decide, does it meet the criteria to which I feel safe trading with or making an exchange with?
Yeah, I like the idea of the proof of activity and social score part. And that's also something that if that does end up going that direction, those are things that end up bringing a little bit more clarity on things that are on chain that do show out bad actors. So I think that'll just incentivize people to bring better tools to the space for those kind of shitty like scammers or hackers or whatever they are. I like that a lot.
It's like as a burger, I will always follow, sanction law and things like that. But as a like root belief, I don't think that just because you're born in some place that has borders that we don't get along with, that you shouldn't be able to interact with those people like as humans. And the fact of the matter is that if you even work as a customer support agent, you can't talk to someone from a country that we have sanctions against. Like you can't provide them any
You
help
can't do
at all.
anything.
Yeah, you can't do anything for them. And like
You
those type
can't
of
even
things
bring
I
in
don't
like
agree with. So
shooting
like
stars.
when we talk about like laws that are being built up around these things, these like ideas, money laundering, sanctions of countries and individuals, I think the ones of like individuals can make sense in instances, but like to just blanket sanction and say no one from our country can talk to or do anything with any human that was born or is visiting even that area is a crazy concept to me.
Yeah, or like you can't go places as a burger. You can't go to Cuba anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wait, I can't go to
KYC
Cuba?
here on us.
So yeah,
No, you
KYC
can.
will come. Like how they accept it or how they make us implement it. I think like it also depends on whether or not we have an answer for it. Like, will someone create something like? I mean, I think there
Bitcoin.
already is some. To be honest, I think the idea I'm talking about, someone is probably like getting funding for right now. But will something like that occur? Will it just be like a regular kind of KYC? They already have, these risk scores and these third party kind of APIs where for transactions or for accounts like linking to your app, you can have it run through this API first, check against its activity, it's a bunch of other criteria, and then if it doesn't meet the score in which you've set the base standard for a user for, it'll restrict them from using your app. And that type of stuff already exists and people use it all the time. Like, Chainalysis offers this type of service. Other companies like them offer these services. And it's not just, exchanges that are using it. A lot of DeFi protocols that take, regulation more seriously have things like this implemented.
On chain credit score, that's where it's all headed.
Well, those are just on-chain like risk scoring, but I think on-chain credit is like a huge thing. There's a lot of people with like, obviously millions, but even some with billions in wealth on chain that don't ever want to take it off chain. But if they could get loans and get things for that to use it in the real world, they totally would. I think that whoever does that, that's, obviously probably $1 billion.
I think
idea.
whoever figures out on-chain credit would be goated. I think the other thing is like that's really cool to think about is real estate transactions or like tokenized real estate.
Yep. I said this to Marty. I'm like, dude, whoever creates the on-chain version of Fannie Mae, like I will full port into fucking.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have. Yeah, the structure of Fannie Mae very kind of like it's just
It doesn't have to
it's
be
so
just like that, but you know what I mean. Just
yeah,
like
I know the global real estate market. Like if we're just talking about how we can just zoom out here, like using the technology and like having retail invest in something cool and novel, like that would be top of mind. But it's just not standardized across the world, so it's very tricky. And at some point, there's going to need to be law, like law enforcement, like who enforces the deed in I don't know, in Germany. I don't know how that works in Germany. Maybe my German friends can,
No, like I
you know.
mean, you do have a government party there at some point. Like I don't know, the city hall. Let's say the city hall does holds all the deeds and all the titles and the transfers and things. So you still have a level of bureaucracy to get through.
Guys, we need a bear post more or like be more bearish on this stream about Bitcoin. Like what about the security budget, guys? Are they gonna what
Is it
about
going up
quantum
or down?
computing?
Here, let me make this red candle bigger.
I want it
just
to go down.
I want to comment on the quantum computing part. I mean, I see like a lot of development that's being made on that end of things. So I'm sure there's going to be some sort of bearish news that comes out when it comes to that. Same with like energy stuff. I mean, I think that's just going to be more efficient as time goes on with Bitcoin mining and finding a way to crack some of these things. I think we're like probably a year or two out for that kind of FUD.
Yeah, but it's just going to be the same recycled FUD. Like we've been over this every 4 years when they talk about some new quantum computing thing that's going to happen, and like all you have to do is like not reuse your keys, just cycle your addresses for Bitcoin, and
Yeah.
everything else, anything not Bitcoin like, you might be fucked. But Bitcoin like assets, you can just never reuse your address or your public private key. Always recycle, and you'll be okay in the quantum world.
I don't know enough about quantum to speak to it, but I do do some light reading on it, and that is like maybe the only risk that we have for Bitcoin that is like stopping it from, being, 50% of the gold market cap, which I think gold's at like 22 trillion now, right? And we're at what, 2 and change. So
The thing with
technically, that's a
the
10x
Bitcoin,
from here.
like quantum computing scare is like people are scared that with quantum computers, people will be able to steal your Bitcoins because they'll be able to crack, your public private
The
key.
encryption.
But the thing is that your public key is never on chain until you send funds from your address. So if you only are receiving funds to an address, and then when you're going to send funds, you make your transaction, then you move all your funds to a new address, that public private key is now not on chain yet. So your address is, Bitcoin is essentially quantum safe as long as you have proper practices. Whereas other assets don't work like that, right? Like your public private keys are sometimes on-chain prior to, or, I'm sorry, your public keys are sometimes searchable or discoverable before that.
So you're right, Satoshi. Bitcoin 10x from here is gold's market cap 22.3 trillion, basically.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, I mean, maybe we can do 50% of that is like I think is the general thesis if you're a Bitcoiner.
Oh,
If
5x
you're
from here.
Yeah, like if you're a diehard, I mean, you're talking about flipping it. Um, but I'm just thinking like what are the risks along the way? Like right now we got through this whole tariff, global economic 1929 style recession part. The other that's like the technological like challenges. Like, is there a security challenge? Is there external like technology challenge with quantum computing?
Aliens, bro. Aliens are gonna crack the fucking code and
Alienware.
it's over. Yeah, Alienware. Age by fucking Dell is
Alienware is
gonna
a
do it.
threat to quantum
Yep.
I think it's
computing.
people feeling not safe with their money in banks and just people not feeling safe with the current situation of things and not having much control. I mean, if we're looking at bearish events like that, it's not going to end up being well for us to make Bitcoin be that crazy. But who says Bitcoin can't be the same price as Berkshire stock that they have, the Berkay, which is at 760,000 right now.
If you believe
Dude.
that fiat will trend down forever and Bitcoin
It's probably
then it
happen.
will be. Then it will be in some time.
I don't want that to
But-
happen.
Yeah, but do we want to live in a world where Bitcoin costs $30 million or something like Sailor's been trying to say?
No.
No.
I think it's
Yeah.
it's something bad.
Of course,
is
Sailor would
going on.
want it.
We were talking about this like in the 2020 bull run, like class of 2020. That's like when people were saying, if Bitcoin ever were to go to like 500K or like 1 mil, 800K, whatever it is, right? It's like the dollar, the US, there's something terribly wrong with the
Yep.
dollar.
It's funny you say that. That's when I started understanding that too. Because like the season cycle before that, even when we pushed like close to 20, when people were screaming for like 100 and stuff, and like the diehard Bitcoiners were trying to explain the thesis, it just didn't make sense to me. I'm like, dude, no one is fucking buying when we get that high. It's like, it's not happening. And then in 2020, like around that time, that's when I started understanding money a bit more, like how fiat actually functions. And I was like, wait a minute, like it actually could happen. These guys could be right, but that would be like terrible. like, like would the governments of the world, or would the US government and like the Fed ever let us get to that point where, or does it slowly happen over time to where like, we don't even realize that inflation has been up that bad, that it's almost like now, like, almost 10% a year. And like most people don't understand that actually happens.
Inflation
check
is always the answer.
Turkish lira, Brazilian real. It's okay against Brazilian real this year, but it's probably all-time high against fucking mega all-time high. It's been all-time high against the Turkish lira and the peso, Argentine peso, for months now. So you gotta watch out for that.
You guys have any comments on the yen? Any yen enjoyers?
No, I've read enough fucking books about carry trades though, and the fucking too long didn't read of all carry trades is that it ends at some point, and when it ends, it's fucked.
Marty is the most intense.
You
Like Marty,
didn't have to read the book.
can you imagine?
I'll fucking tell you how it goes. Okay, the book, the one that I'm referring to is called The Rise of Carry. It's a red cover, I think, and it fucking ends. Okay, so get in while the getting's good, and then get out before it gets fucked. Okay?
There's a meme of Tucker Carlson, like it's over. It's never been more over than it is now. And that's
That's
exactly how
Marty.
I pictured Marty, like on Bloomberg, like talking about this Japanese. No,
And
but
what do you know
honestly,
about the Japanese yen? Not much, but I know it fucking will end at some point.
it buys me my ramen whenever I'm in Tokyo.
Oh, so good, so good.
Dude, guys, I'm looking at my tickers, and the S&P is going down.
A lot.
Launch coin is going down. Fart coin is going down. Bitcoin. Wait, why is
Yeah.
Hyperliquid going up? What the
Zoom
hell?
out.
I know, I'm on the 4-hour on some of these things. Oh no, it's
Because
going
people are
down more.
realizing that Hyperliquid can fucking do $1 billion of trade. That's like the only DEX. Like, look at DYDX. You see the gold standard now. Hyperliquid's the gold standard. So
Guys,
it's
if we get a flush, oh, well, we have 1,200 people watching.
yeah. We're
All right,
famous.
if we get a flush, where are we going? 99?
Don't forget to buy. Don't forget to buy.
All right, let me tell you. I'll give you the TA. Hold on.
Go.
Let me pull this up.
Tell me right now. Tell me on the stream with
Hold that shit up.
1,200 people
Hold that
watching.
shit up, Jamie.
The level is going to be 93.94K.
Oof.
93.94, dude, it's over.
People have families, dude. They won't survive.
They have to
That's
feel
not
like
the.
it's over.
They'll be all right. It's summertime.
No, wait, the 30-day VWAP. What's that at? It's at 98.
I said 93.94 because that's a mean reversion on the weekly, so that makes sense.
Yeah, 98.
I'm all here for it. Don't forget to buy the fucking dip. Every dip is a gift.
I would buy it for the ride to 130.
Mhm.
But I don't want it to happen when I'm snorkeling or some shit though.
Yeah, not yet. Do we want to wrap it up here and do end of year price predictions? Do we want to change? Dude, we need an intern to clip what we say because I fucking forget what we say sometimes. But I think we all said over 100, I think. And I think we even went as high as 120, 130,
What, end
something
of
like
year?
that.
Fair post. We
You
need
talking
a
about
fair
end of
post.
year? I said 130-ish on the last, I think, time you made me do end of year.
I'm bearish. I want it to be at 30K.
I would love that.
Let's win
Dang.
at 30.
No, I'm looking at this entire year. I'm looking at this entire year quarter by quarter, and if I had to put a finger in the air and guess, it's like bearish Q1, bullish
Finger in
Q2. Yeah, finger in the air guess. Bearish Q1, bullish Q2, bad to down / chop Q3, but that's actually an entry for Q4. But Q4, I don't want to look out too far. I'm thinking like how Q4 is going to shape up, but I don't want to look too far because that's going to like impact my Q3 view, which right now is like down, leaning down. But I do think that whatever lows we print in Q3, you definitely want to buy that for the end of Q4, like end of year, like upward swing, and then the trade for midterm elections, like whatever Trump is going to sprinkle into the market, it'll definitely kind of like show itself in Q4 and Q1 of next year. The tax bill is definitely one of them. And oh, by the way, there's like talk about like, oh, is this tax bill is it going to pass? Like, why is that a question? Like, it's gonna pass. Like, I feel like,
Just to have fucking us talk about it, you know?
Yeah.
yeah, like but there's always it's like the debt ceiling. Like Marty, you know what I'm talking about. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
debt ceiling gonna rise? Like, oh my
Dude,
God,
those
this is
fucking
the
guys
time
are
it's
gonna
not
get
gonna
paid,
rise.
you fucks. Yeah,
Like it
exactly.
goes on Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal, and I'm like, how do they keep getting views for the same
No,
thing?
it's just I think it's the same thing with the tariff thing that they're gonna fuck around with us. Oh, we pushed it. Oh, we pushed it. Oh, it's not happening. Oh, just kidding, it's happening. Like, it's just another news cycle. So don't get fucking washed out.
I think it's happening. I mean, that would be like the fiscal stimulus side of things.
Yeah. Ace,
All right,
end of year price
here's
prediction.
here's my thing. I'm gonna follow the same thing like every year. I think if we're gonna top out, we're probably gonna top out around November time, and I would probably say around like 120, 130K if we do end up pumping, and then worst case scenario by the end of the year, we might be around like the mid or low 90Ks. But that would be after January or like in the middle of January. Probably definitely not beforehand. But I always feel like we dump down come Christmas time like we do every year. So
I'm
yeah,
with you,
120,
Ace.
130.
I'm here
I'm with
for it.
you.
I'm here.
Like November, no, around
October,
November, the
November.
Thanksgiving, like
All.
get okay. This is a good clip to save, and maybe I'll make a fool of myself, or it'll be a legendary call.
We'll pull it up on
I'd
Twitter.
bet on it.
Get out by Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
Enjoy
Yeah,
your fucking
exactly.
holiday. Enjoy
Jamie,
your
clip
holiday.
that shit.
The
Have money to buy
Europeans,
gifts.
the Europeans on the stream are like, "What the fuck is a Thanksgiving?"
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, what is
European mind
Thanksgiving?
phenomenon.
Google this now.
All right, fellas, we pushed over an hour. Thank you. I know you guys were short on time. One of you short on time. Safe travels, everybody.
Yep.
Thank
Enjoy
you
your
all for
travels.
being here.
Glad to see you all in the East space, that you're all healthy and back to things. Catch you on the
I
next
know.
one.
Yeah, glad to be back. Thank you for having me, guys.
Later,
Stream.
Prince. Peace.
Later, boys.